This is Sky Power Radio and TV Services Studios, West Yorkshire, Leeds, Stencil, Mount Studios. Welcome all on board our weekly civic education program at the seat. Mustafa Jame is my name. Assalamu alaikum, bari ngolong alkonto mobe dauda anibe watu do kamoran Sky Power Radio and TV Services Studios West Yorkshire Leeds Stencil Mount kal konton kal bismillah na programo mi alon kaso jam loko ninyi temben sida civic education programo lal bari malo Mustafa Jame membe sirin programo kunna Sky Power Radio and TV Services Studios West Yorkshire Leeds Stencil Mount Dylan Bismillah Chichen Buntu program civic education program and Sen Harit Mustafa Jame nekalen fichi rajobe Brung ndalta ka kenya loko ninyi temben sita na civic education program o kamalanka alfalso don fe
I'm going to show you how I made over £10,000
komin dalta ka kenya be tentulam be jeyla famo keta domanding bari detole keta annum komin nga fonu nyame lokun tambelanga announcement o kenyang ko Sky Power page ya haklenu so hacking ying alal de maroto nga most of me mako we've got the page back and then we're back in control welcome malambe molten to la minia lonko e kam foto market ñinin karoba kelen kula mimbe dending bukal moy but say alal de maroto we are back on air streaming live on the page alfal minni kataram fe loko ninyi en temben sita alal de maroto nga dol sotom fe dol deteta Aziz Bojam Bijang Suleiman Jeng anim Bamba Mas ndey nak mba konton na bake abulo mutata aning alaji baro alaji sedi baro manjiki afanang kataram velo wani no mba konton na mba fanang bi fanang atete taral non fe jang hakela dito kam pornin kumbo nyawan sanyi alfal be kiling bula enin lamorani jiberal sunyo kontong no borje inshallah sina dum kokun kono yalong jang yin civic education program kumin dalta ka fanyang kawo kan jamala ka fojang andu ñunu bebe ye ñing kangol bela moy min ka fosu so wala nam buka problem so count boundary ya fo mole ya moy ya understand wala ko mada par follow nembe na minya sa fo sa blani lamorlani giberale ñoo konton wala asis bon ngan yo isen mol ngebule ni mole ñoo konton
yo abaraka Mustafa be badin lamorlani giberlalu be konton na ka foye ko alhamdulillah mfamata nyim programme wala bak fente fo deto kama barbi alayenso nga chance to kana kafalima oto be duala fo nga memmen kacajam fana fo ala se barka keje fa se ketine mobe ase ketine banko mben kafunyo malu kontonna na alfaba Suleiman Jeng aning Bamba Mas Serigne Bamba memum bela moroti be konton na kejeyi alaba
Baba bila moria malam vakwe de la barbar bi nyawo la sol bon na ba ñu bayala kanu yo sol
non haral kadim wax be pare
Baba bu
comme moy suñ serigne bi mané ko comme nga atele mori badi bi
ndele ma karamoti mbadun tanga diamo folo
okay kadim
police ke bambe konton na bake Aziz alhamdulillah welcome back Suleiman Jeng be konton na bake Mustafa be konton na one and only sister me alonko na jetaba me alonko all the time mobile along kalo hadamadi wala nyanto la ndey jubate mba konton na bake abe dauda mba ko lay ko famata la nga misle alaji baro fanang na brother mba fanang konton na bake Mustafa kondondiro warama bamba kila na lamor lalle because itolle kumayata andung ngajele bring na website o dunta la tew kono o jamal fon kan kumandi fo sal buka program okay so where it andinna ko alla concern and alla kin interest wo wole kantol wakilinde because atol menu ka lamor ka tolle kena kumayata yo memem fulale don wato wati alla hakile dima balu analla miral balu ali men soto banko al sikari ma koy woto alla comment solto ba jela ko Mustafa fanan be karla wala jube lan sa jube be improve la nyame because hakile kilente hakile tin tol men be jang atol la moy la hakilo wartan tolti because ntolo lum ka fole doron to ba jela nin tol ba fola tol be karla pick la ko la ya expand so alse ma koy no alla input solto memba tin nam bebe nyoma koy lan sen na banko bonni no nyame ka banko ke bankuti banko me alon ko molbe nyabolal mbal konto nam mbal tentlo mbal jeyla assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah natal bo say si diamono
ene mbara kumara Karim sol nga nuyo
assalamu alaikum maa ngi nuyu ñëpp Mustafa njëkkee ko ci yow ñëw si suma boss Aziz Bojang ñëw si suma karamo Moriba Khadim Rasul Bamba Mas di nuyu ñoo xam ne ñooy suñ déglukat yi parce que ñoo ñooy tax ñuy ñëw fii every weekend di waxtaan ak ñoom di leen jéggalu it comme ni ko Mustafa waxee si soose amoon na jamono ci gannaaw dañ xakoon website bi page bi so mënuñu na génn waxtaan ak yéen comme niñ ko faral a defee so fi mu nekk nii sant yàlla alhamdulillah jotadi nañ page bi ak website bi so niñ ko daan defee rek di ko baaxantalu dinañ ko defee noonu so maa ngi leen naa nuyu di leen gërëm di leen ne welcome back Alhaji Seydi Baro Ajaratu Ndey Jobaate maa ngi leen naa nuyu di leen jox seen wàccuwaay jërë ngeen jëf.
jërëjëf Sol am na solo lool. Right, our topic title Nakachakungon Lafta Minji Vela B is tolerance of diverse political views. Loolu nag Sol xanaa nga ràññee ñu ko ci Paul Mbite Olof loolu mooy maanaam tolerance of diverse political views. Am nga Sol su ñëwee ci loolu topic bu nekk nag balaa ñu ko duga balaa ñu see duga dama dee bëgg ñu like define ko suñu tolerance lan mooy tolerance suñu diverse political view lan mooy loolu lu tax ñu choose topic boobu noonu loolu am na solo lool.
Well soo gisee ñu choose ko mooy normally ñun suñ every weekend waxtaan dañ ko dee sukkandeku ci loo xam ne mooy xew ci suñ réew Gambia ak loo xam ne ñëpp a ngi ko waxtaanee soo ko seetloo fan yi is like nit ñi dañ dee talk about different issues different opinions especially about that land issue boo xam ne ñu ngi ko waxtaanee ñii di wax ne Barrow daf ko war a delloo Darboe yim jox famille am dañ ko war a delloo so ku nekkaa nge wax ñii di ko seete in the moral aspect ñii di ko seete in the legal aspect waaye am na ñoo xam ne ci biir waxtaan boobu ñu ngi ko jëlee xool am nga ñu ngi cee ŋañña nit ñi di saaga ñeneen ñi ñoo xam ne ñu ngi ñëw di joxe seen xalaat so moo tax ñu ne tey dañoo waxtaan ci lu dem ni political tolerance ak different diverse views da nga gis ne tolerance bi mooy nit ki nga muñ o nga accept xam nga naka la ko olof yi di waxee comme nga allow sa morom ki mu mun a wax xalaatam fekka xuloowu leen xeexu leen saagantewu leen te aduna bi ñun ñëpp duñ mun a bokk xalaat parce que tubaab bi dañ ne su ñëpp bokkee benn xalaat rek am na koo xam ne nekku di xalaat parce que ko xam ne sa xel mocca na sa xel mu ngi wér obviously ni nga gisee nit ni nga gisee something o ni ko xalaatee dafa ute yeah loolu la amoon pour wax just in this brief moment.
Wow, okay. I'm not solo. Aziz, your thoughts on tolerance, diverse, and political views in all aspects, Aziz, your thoughts?
I don't know if I can even say this in Mandinka, but
you can say it in English, Aziz. You can say it in English.
No. I want to go back to Suleiman so that at least Mugena am impact because of the audience. Li Suleiman wa sila buga yatal tuuti rek. Xëy na nangul nit ki wuutee gis-gis ci mbiri politique waaw nangu wuutee si gis-gis si politique te wuute boobu bañ a andi waaw wuute boobu bañ a andi fitna loolu daf ci am solo trop li tax sax mu gën a am solo ci réewi Gambia léegi da ngay gis saa yoo wuuteeg nit gisin ci politique mu yaakaar ne yow yéenewuloo réew mi lu baax mu mel ni kenn ku ne yaakaar na ni moom gisinam mooy mun a suuxali réew mi leneen lu wuuteeg loolu rek wala keneen ku wuuteeg moom gisinam kooku yéenewul réew mi lu baax boo ñëwee ci diversity mooy wuute ci réew moo xam ne dañ wuute ci xeet wuute ci diine wuute ci yarim kon nangulante rek mooy mun a tax réew mi mun a jëm kanam nangulante mooy mun a tax ku ne indi sa xalaat ak fu munti ne ak nu munti mel buñ ko boolantee réew mi gën a mun a dem kanam moo tax am na ñoo xam ne dañ ne wuute am na njëriñ there is richness in diversity kon foofu loolu laa ko bugg a yokkee léegi nag xaaral ma bàyyi Bamba Mass moom mu firi ko ci soose xëj na
kani wini mbara mo kende
Mustafa mbe Aziz Tentula bake mbe Suleiman Fanan Tentula ye fero men kata pour ka faram fanche ci kalama olof yalon kamunya anin kake moti me yalon ko isonnota modol la miralola isonta ko momo alayeda ay miralola dila mol be la miralol te kanyal nola hakilolu warta nyotile mol fonlu Kenya fon warta nyotile dolu mesiata dolu warta dolu sutiata dolu jamfata adama dingo alayada nyamen ite nyanta wo bu nyalale annu wokake jamala problemoti na society kono molu ka fo itolla miralo be wala kupila dolu kan nyinka kole ya jamanati society kono ka fo kari wo ke mira nyaadile ni o ke doron ye Allah Taala fon le question because ale momo da ayala miralo le diala ni aje hani bantala bankol kan ni nata tubabul ya yaje yendang itolu fe menu fon lu nasita miralo le sembo dila le fanon ka miralo ke fayi walantin hani safero la karola isa fo ko foybe la fela safero kala in brille bang fobe la fla kala in words la nyin kamala men yalon ko nyaalo fanan fo man dia baake wul fim ko bela ni yake in brille safer kulubala e fanan sa soute comme bin nata pour ka kacha hani politiko kono ndol si muna keno munantin na nyo sabol be kere munan na nyin diam ko be kere nin dunta kono pour ka kono fanonde alba jelala ko ndamal fon la miralo te keno la kilintije annon alayen dala mankiling annon fujja hadama diwol fonga so wala doron nin ko nga progress no as a society amanya na kala ko mo kilina miralo mo be nyanda tala wala comme Sulemane même fa suru account doron ni ke mira mo la miralo la dat min ci bu kay mira ko tanke ala baraka
ini mbara bake kadema kumata bake nyim fanna pour ka kono fanundi because Saul hamga Gambia jamono ji at this point in time li doon na loo xam ne daf ñu dañ ko soxla trop maanaam waxtaan am nga su réeroo amee ñaaka waxtaan moo am te ñaaka waxtaan dina ne indi lu bari loo xam ne dafay indi maanaam ñu bari nañ de pugaroom bi te tiitaroo loo xam ne lu warut la te nit mooy naka mooy garabi nit loolu doon na loo xam ne dafa am solo so ku nekk so nit bu nekk da nga war a nekk nit plus bunyo utiep, everybody, the space we're looking for is human beings to be behind you, to be a leader for some people to follow you. So in that case, communication before now I'm not solo lol, with the tolerance be dafa am solo lol so. Na?
Wanga dega Mustafa. Comme am nga magi demba ñom ci lu gëna bari dañ dee waxtaane lépp ci biir moo tax olof yi ne gàcce su emee ci biir néeg doomi ndey moo koy fàcc waaye su demee ba si penc ma doomi baay moo koy faj so literally li ñuy wax mooy ne su problème amee da ngeen ko war a waxtaanee ci biir néeg bi ngeen arrangé ko and everything ku nekk joxe opinion am xam nga bi ngeen reach a solution boo xam ne ñeen ñëpp di ngeen agree ne waa finally ñun ñëpp d'accord ne lii moo gën so ñu defee ko noonu so da nga gis ne suñ politique bi tamit dafa mel ni dafa jël tànka boobu da nga gis ne waxuma dafa aay waaye am na li ci bari especially su ñëwee ci doxalin réew loolu waruñ ko waxtaanee ci biir néeg because dañ ko war a waxtaanee ci biti ku nekk joxe sa xalaatin so xalaat boobu xëy na man suma xalaat dina ñàkk solo xalaati Bamba gën a am solo Aziz gën koo gën a am solo so da nga gis ne su boobaa da nga ne Suleiman de xalaatam bi ak bu Bamba bi méngoo wuñ so xaaral ñu jël bu Bamba bi ëllëg tamit mun naa joxe xalaat boo xam ne moo gën a am solo bu Bamba o moo gën a am solo bu Aziz ñu ne teede Suleiman xalaatam rafet na nañ ko jël
waaye tolérance boobu lu tax munta am waaye lu tax munta am
so gisee loolu munta am I think is because of am na suma benn bro kii wax mu ne because bi ma bindoon mu ne ma yow is like always dang de talk di criticize Barrow te xanaa yow nekkuloo di support MPP ma ne ko of course I am te dama de support Barrow waaye da nga gis ne problème bi mooy ñun xamuñ ko mu ne loolu ñun duñ ko daan practice toog di criticize sa leader so because loolu duñ ko daan def in the past so dañ feel ne it is wrong to do it now so li ma ko wax mooy ne am na yoo xam ne comme like démba loolu rafetoon na o jekkoon na waaye tey jamono dem na ba soppeeku loolu lu jekkoon o lu baaxoon démba àndut ak jamono bi tey so ñun dañ war a try ñu góorgóorlu ñu em ak jamono bi because léegi-léegi da ngaa dégg ñu ne aduna bi dafa sanse aduna bi sanse wu de nit ñi dee sanse because soo xoolee yow bi nga juddoo nga nekk liir dañ lay fab nga jógee foofu door di raam nga jógee foofu door di dox xam nga jógee foofu door di daw mun na defaral sa boppa so doomi aadama bi ak réew tamit noonu la mel so jamono moo de soppeeku daf dee change daf dee grow so dañ war a understand ne xam nga things yoo xam ne baaxoon na démba du mun a baaxati tey because dafa fekk suñ circumstances change nañ so démba xëy na doo taxaw nga ne CFO bi moo kon si mbarong yi non li nga sa ate bi koregut ak yooyu nga xam ne time boobu dañ laa téye ñu takka la dóor la def la yooyu léegi doo mën a téye nit nga takka ko nga dóor ko danga koy yóbbu si luwaa nga ate ko jël evidence yi nit ñi waa present ñu ne waa dafa guilty or guilty would understand nga so yooyu tax na dem na ba tax ne sa njiit soo ko buggee man li ma gom mooy njiit soo ko buggee te nga eenal ko lu baax danga ko war a wax dëgga am na koo xam ne tamit wax na ma ne ñun dañ dee wax a Barrow dañ ko dee meet in camera dañ ko dee advice waaye affaire yi dafa des ci Barrow mu déglu ñun liñ ko wax o mu bañ a déglu liñ ko wax
kon in summary li nga wax mooy Barrow ñi ko surround nañ ko dee waxal waaye Barrow moo leen du déglu is that what you saying
man waxuma ko de dama ne dafa am ki wax loolu dafa make that comment in one of my writings mu ne it's not everybody that would come out in the public to say ne okay maa ngi wax Barrow dégg maa ngi ko wax lii maa ngi ko wax ñeneen ñi dañ ko dee meet in person wala moom waaye des na ndax moom dina leen déglu o du leen déglu obviously loolu is natural because Barrow am na ñoo xam ne moo ñooma foyandoor moo ñooma magandoor they close friends even though he is the president why he still have that relationship with those people te am naa yaakaar ne xen na ñooñu duñ ko ragal a wax dëgg because xam nañ ko démba xam ko barki démba xam ko tey understand waaye am na tamit ñoo xam ne xen na am na liñ yaakaar ci moom moo tax ñooñu duñ ko mën a wax dëgg understand nga because gom nañ ne suñ demee ba wax ko dëgg xen na liñ yaakaar ci moom duñ ko am so loolu mooy affaire bi so dem nañ ba ci biir is like loolu moo dee tax xen na duñ dee mun a wax suñ leaders yi dëgg understand nga so loolu mooy problème bi
As is this ongoing problem, I don't know how do we resolve this, because in the people get scared to put what digger. People don't want to accept each other. So, Aziz, Lolu is scary, na?
Wow, dega la kay is very scary. Lima buga yoka rek moy ñun suñ ñaaka nangulante ci politique. Mën nañu ko xalaatee ne xëj naa li ko waral mooy ñaaka xam ak itam façon yi politique bi nga xam ne moom lañu politiciens yi jaay ñu jàngal ñu ci nampal ñu ko ba loolu sax ci suñu xel yi mooy ne rek ku giseek yow ku wuuteek yow gisin rek kooku baaxul surtout su fekkee ne yow yaa nekk ci boppi réew mi parti bi nekk ci boppi réew mi li mu gëmloo askan bi mooy képp ku wuuteek ñoom gisin rek kooku yéenewul réew mi lu baax muy loo xam ne dul dégga waaye nag saxal nañ ko ci boppi nit ñi bi dañu ko gëm tey loolu gën a sax si jamono yaaya saxal nañ ko bu baax a baax a baax waaye gis naa itam lu ko mel ci Barrow te politique ni mu war a demee mooy saa su ki jiitu wala parti bu ne bu indee tëralin beneen parti bu wuuteeg moom gisin war naa mun a am beneen tëralin bu wuuteeg moom mun lépp loo munti lal bu dee doomi aadama yow yaa ko nas am na leneen lu ko gën lu nit mun a indi kon ki indi li ko gën duut ne yéenewut lu baax loolu war nañ koo xam ba tax na wuute dafa am solo wuute si gisin dafa am solo waaye léegi situation ñun bi ñu nekk tey boo ko doon xalaat lan moo ñu ko yóbbee ak naka lañ mënoon a def ba génn ci dañoo jël politique ak réew mi yépp def ko comme benn kër su ko defee ñu mun koo explain mu leer tey bu dee yow yaay borom kër nga joboote ñépp du ñépp ñooy ànd ak yow déedéet waaye yow sa ite moo war a nekk ne nga dajale ñépp ku ànd ak yow ku àndut ak yow nga boole leen ñépp elif bu ci indi xaajaatloo ki bokkut ak yow gisin toujours muy indi beneen gisin boo koy déglu di ko bàyyi xel amaat na dinga si jëlee loo xam ne luy njëriñ loo xam ne dinga ko mun a joyanti ci li nga doon def su ko defee réew mi gën a dem kanam waaye bu fekkee yow yaa taxaw gëmloo sa askan ñi la wooteel ne ñi ma wooteelu yéenewuñ réew mi lu baax kon ñi la gëm ñoom loolu la ñoo toppa loolu mooy pour man premier fondement bi nga xam ne xëy naa moo yaaxa suñu politique moo tax ba nanguñu wuute ñu am président boo xam ne man dama ko yërëm duma ko mere parce que dama yaakaar ne dafa am internal psychological problem boo xam ne dañ ko war a dimbale bu dut loolu président Barrow ak yenn yi moo wax ak li mooy jéem a féewaatle nit ñi ci politique jaru ko woon.
Kon in summary, Aziz, the president of the Republic of the Gambia has got some mental issues.
Man ci suma gisin ci waxam waaw parce que li tax ma wax loolu mooy ni muy defee amul benn kilifa waxuma njiit de kilifa ci boppam yenn yooyu du ko wax te ñu am président bu koy wax tey Barrow waroon naa seet ñi ko wóor waxuma sax biir Gambia waaye président ñi ko wóor yépp ci suñ tund ndax moom waxinam ni mooy adressé Gambian si ndax gis na benn président ci sub region bi buy adressé noonu askanam amut loolu waroon na ko mun a jox jàng te am naa yaakaar ne to be quite honest Barrow am na good intention pour jàng waaye du dee mun a contrôle émotion am su nekkee ci podium bi so Barrow dafa soxla ndimbal réew mi suy taaka Barrow moo koy taal ak ñi nga xam ne ñeme ñu ko wax dëgga ñi jóg di ko jàppale ñoom ñooy taal réew mi Barrow su fekkoon ne tey duut emotion war naa xam ne moom soxlaatut a nekk opposition moom soxlawut li opposition bi yore xëy na ñoom ñoo soxla lim yore waaye moom soxlawut lim yore Barrow su muusoon tey bu fekkoon ne mu ngi ànd ak xelam war naa xam ne moom la Gambian si jox seeni alal including ñi ko wooteelul yépp dañoo fay lempo Barrow toog decide fan lay dugal lempo bi te kenn du ko laaj loolu kum doyul dara du la doy buñ la defalee loolu yépp jox la lempo jox la xaalis ne la yow yaay gën a feyeku ci réew mi ci suñ lempo jox la doole ne la mun ngaa dem lebi fu ne ci suñu tur boo fi jógee sax ñun dinañ fay bor boobu ñu joxaat la doole ne la booy génn ci réew mi na nga wàccee ñëpp ci tali bi da yow nga egga fi ngay dem doole boobu yépp kuñ ko jox loolu doyu la amuloo dara loo wax lu dul di jaakaarloog nit ñooñu di leen wax yéen a wax yi dama yaakaar ne duut ne Barrow dafa kii de Barrow dafa soxla ndimbal Barrow dafa soxla ndimbal
am na solo
waaw xam nga dafa am certain I don't know disorder yoo xam ne dafay am ci nit bu njëkka dangay am xale mu am acute disobedient disorder something like that am na benn term loo ko am mu ne la maa bañ nga ne xale bi dafa réew te fekka du réewange feebar la man loolu laa gis
ok am na solo Aziz Bamba ñing ko silango warta baake na jeroto ani na crossroad Aziz ye kuma kama minfo ani sol ye kuma kama minfo aka mulune bambantol mo be kamulune mo be ba haraba ring mo mam pare ka nyola moy mo mam pare ka kutu nyoye mo mam pare ka kutu kuye Bamba o banku sifa malom fo womu fankum wala fambe fambul wala momo min diate wala momo e ba sudula nyame wala momo e ba fankala nyame Bamba ako silang warta baake no because Aziz ya fo ala diamo kono Suleiman ya fo ala diamo kono Bamba makoy tolerance mi fenne de mi alonko ani wuludi ngo fango inyante hakilo tulala kodo bi yenyante tulale kutu kuye e kuto fa wulo kono diverse political view momo la miro akumata baake mo bela kumata banko kan mo bela kumata bungo kono so kono sate kono odo momo la miro anyanda kala kuleti mi alonko anyanda kala bunya taldi bara Aziz ye kuma fango fala kuma fana ko president sulata makoero la soko mental makoero sole a fola diamo kono ako modol bije kamol kala nyinna kam e ka silale fonin karina da banna palaso dala ne wol sifala bama makoy ilamiro
abaraka bake Mustafa abaraka police keba Aziz police fula bi jambutu malom fo ben arrest la bam bi because bi mparere mbala bi jang yalo nganole anin kam fam forcele Mustafa ol mankile nganole anin kam fam forcé ol mankile President Barrow ka fam forcé President Barrow manque public speaker ti President Barrow manque politician amano le fang I remembered 2005 something was somewhere around there President Barrow be local parliamentary elections in Jumara you know abete ata bakele puru abete ata bakele puru ngamuru bak ngatari ko jube ndenga mira Mustafa membe na society kono is many President Barrow surround wol fongolo bukatara President Barrow study kan imam President Barrow long ituluka President jele drong wala dina nay mistake or ke big mistake drong they scramble. Ikatara boring na to find words to fit in. Urkala kumo dada satara betinya tala bomo fight la fapare. Yo ando nimma nyinke 1 second. Alinso
akumara bamba. But lafta kukile yo jibe mfeja yem mako mintu bamba min jibe ka nyintembeng puru kanyo kundi sondo mola karola puru kanyo kundi ka kutu nyoye politiko la jero la fannala because ne ajibe molka mulene ko ida malbe kelola bankola kola wala molka mulene ko ibe nyo sabakam bankola kola banko mi alonko modol bije fang ila miro ming ikajeje maybe woka ke ila kunkilin nafa de anun kunkilin nafa abuka banko sambano anu nyumu kuleti mi alonko mahalom fo nyanda muruna drawing board to ngaje ko banku dingol sai momo koku keta minnim banko la ko manta alngo jenken momo yenyun dunda kono ko Gambia follow jannin koku
Mustafa bamba bulobe mutarin demanding lafta jump in
yes Aziz
lafta Gambian kolu nga hani tonyala nga tonyafu lillahi wa rasul wati o wati ning baroning opposition lu duntanyola sakani UDP mol kanyine foko ali tenkum UDP ali fitinobula MPP ali fitinobula nyanta même fola baro même fola même mutonyati ole mu baro fitinobula. It's not UDP. UDP be la doko la mune mi la dokoti to oppose to ka banko nying mansa kunda nim fem betamala na nim tonya manta yafu. Woto bi kute UDP kan mune atina all the time ni wo keta mo be ka wuli kote ke ikafo ko UDP alfitinobula for them menu ka wofo ilaftaka opposition olu fa adunin opposition fata we are doomed because nite most to la membe diamula molu toyala
imamira Aziz kuningole be dasande imamira kuningole dasata fo
bari nte amira manipulation ore fango be caring because even at the level of intolujikita menulla even for civil society ni kela kumakangul moy kamunefo UDP nying ali let's make peace.
Aziz ngejala de baramba min foka
de lafta ming ad la je drong Aziz sorry me kuntu yalong kumu fo I think lafta wo fola then I come on to something else iko nemu nyaton koti yela komalankol ye brainwash ya fo ko nyule beteata alinyinke wolbe wole mutala. So wo fanan be caring in the politics because ngamoy baroka for NPP kol dingoli ko allo alekele altelle mansati alkanasila so woka wol sembentu ya ake hanyindile barinte lafta mem fola men kumayata yalon hadama dingo alaye momo so hakilola ando ni hakilo yirwata hakilo kendeyata ni moye kumu foye ite nyanta wo kumo pasuwari la ye kende ma bondige ye wota ni moye kumo foye drong ite wo muta ni wo bori imanwo kisi ima pasuware aboko itela hakilo la yirwa adesita domande sabanjangon lafta min also la fala je volem ko intel sign ni ajobe mo jama ika fo komtingaje Asis Bojang ntena baluwo abe Asis le bulu kuma be kuma to nde hanyila fola Asis because ninga faye abenna baluwo mutalale o aben torandila so ala fanan aba fola okay sa kom kay Asis muta kom atele yeda batu ngeni Asis bulanyola so bulemun tella problemoti su jam fatina nin tonya nata mulka nyakasi tonya la e kala fila faniata la ya ku ya seneyandi ya mutulola ye donde ka nyima dungae so ni mona benta aga fola nyin mu ku kendere asatara amambete so wole be kerin sign so evangela wobe baroya abe opposition ya ni wala tina molka fo UDP ning NPP imu 6 and 9 they always nkafo recently konye for this I moved UDP le for baro le na political dabo le na political leader coming for ning baro be ku dol kela UDP manyan na sonna ye tarawo similar ku kuoto because ni okay drong is like multi fatala nyola because yalong wo kilo min keta non jana wo police I think you that history for dumbuto lem fonyadi police ni si sankandi so kilo du ta mol man police ni mol bojoto so kending doko ali kopulol ni police bojoto bari yalong kopulol police so kol keke akan to a certain extent mol buka nyol bonyoto so lafta min fula drong wolem intolerance ni ajube abe NPP ni ajube abe UDP because some time ago nata fongo
sorry mela kuma kundu halo nyinkola nte ngalon azizi alo eti alo ngalon ko abakiri but saying lafta nyin jarala because ning one day is I could grab infiltrate infection all
so because to be quite honest with UDP they've rebranded a lot because komanto e buka hani ye fundi hani amanke daboti fan ye UDP challenge ibe nenna ibe tretina ni ye fanisi busano isi busa bari sai ni wo yube wo talata bake on the side of UDP
Suleiman yalo yang jom yang kuntule left bamba dukare janning benna tot fenkela assuming consonte yembe fo woto mo samira ko UDP la manya wole yatina ye sanction iman carte odila kodi woto silang UDP have paid the price for whatever for their behavior but B ye men ye tembo sikaya di menna wole be behave can like this handing bin ka foko UDP ka ke UDP
so wole yatina wole yatina baro yemin ha wole yatina baro
about UDP
no lafta min emphasize la je comme ya fo nyamen wole yatina kabrim baro ye wo dead whiskey daboma everybody came out and wo ni galie pressuring mount no yewo continue that would have had some serious effects on Barrow and Abedabo project la as the victim. And Mo Jamal would vote for him because Yajeko he's been victimized by Barrow unnecessarily. But in Nathan land in Nafe, so we were kind of deflectly. So Sai Bajela, people are not talking about that anymore. They're focusing on the land issue.
So land issue is a distraction.
Can I comment, Mustafa?
Governance law. Land issue for about Dabo is a distraction.
As is Alin Sodomandi, Yalong Ntenga Mira Tonya la Paleta Fala Gambia.
Exactly.
Because Ning Ayatara Mulmanke Nafikoti. Imanke Muluti Meni Yalong ko ikamire ka ala dribble le Mustafa, Aziz and Suleiman. Go. Okay, let's look at this way. Barole mu the president of the Gambia. A famole fama ya daila kontelenga landi Usenu la family la. Baro famode. Not that Usenu dabole ko na family land apply le president ya dila. President ko ntele fama ya minister kumandengkaya approve this. Ako because ako dabole ati kumandi. With Dabo denied. But Baro yolaf. Sa intalo na jumal betonya kan jumal bantar tonya kan bari memu tonyati wole Baroya admit le ko atele landi Usenu la family. You understand? So sa imdolbe menyin kala ni momu tonya folat. Inyanta menyin kala wole mendiko. Barole ka landi atele ka mobile land. Why atele president ala mansa kundale ke so landi.
Okay, Bamman Songanaja. Ni lua long. Ye banko lua long. Monata e fendi la mimmanke atati banko be talong. Yamuta yata. ite lualong mama fo wota wo fana fo tilin talaba
woman tilling bari ibe sola le nganna diamo lan amanke ko mote Gambia moment tara Gambia men ka questioning ke for usen la family land soto legally mo be alon ko ya soto legally because the application no deke ko Gambia dingo be ka application no ke nyame ya sen minister of lands o application no nyi land panel le ka sika approve mbele nga wolong ya jube jumalle qualified for that application ni ya jube men qualified ka land di wolel mbele nga wolong don't be imam qualify a land dealer because minister kasotole be pare la musol kasote diwol kasoto. We have all seen that. Momo Tangara's wife recently was given a plot of land when Momo Tangara got a land during the Jammeh era. So Amadou Ba got a plot of land. Amadou Ba's son got a plot of land. Mbele nga lon ko wo mansa kundalu kawo kele just to cover up. Comme ninte nga di Mustafa la ngalon ko Mustafa is my main challenger ngalan di Mustafa la misal ve wara nga dia dingola ni Mustafa finti nan sa ko bari nga dia dingo fanan but this is completely different here so do man dentro
I think problem
molbe apples and oranges so le mix kam President Adama Barrow ye land dia la Brufut Heights like ako amalla fala lafta ni membe jana me alon ko ya allocate for the chief justice alafta won Amad Baye land nying approve Kadiel. When that land is already been allocated, o land for amand designate ka for state la for column pour
Moma Sosoko, that is wrong. But coming back to Mustafa la question.
Let me land. Why is it that now Gambian soul kana because Barrow knows Gambians very well alone ko Gambia be 80% nafikol lebije Gambia la population 80% abe nafikol because the problem is ibe alone ko tubabu karandi wolemu they are so corrupt ibe duntani land dealing kono and ibe benefited from it you understand ning bulata ko noma because useni dabo challenge men ke Mustafa ni ala moy very carefully ako Barrow land commission ning I land commission ni launch bang land commission whereby they from himself right down to Alaji Usenu to everybody ya be investigate mo be alon ko mo yekene jelle soto andu ya soto nyade ako he is challenging Barrow to that
okay yalla nyini ngaro minti ansa mamere ya jabire nko yalon Adama Barrow claim ko atele landi Usenu Dabo dingola wala family member la also ngamre
yes.
Okay but saying ning yewo diala ateko atele ya diala minka diala wo ya lonko bankola fengo ekole diala ya di minna wo lualo minna fo nyanda mutala ba
but Usenu ya koindile ko he never played any part anno anala man Barrow kumande and number 2 ala family adingo fenda me application okay fenda ya follow by application okay through the Minister of Lands. That should be clear to anybody. Even Mustafa, you can make applications. For Fenda, Amanyan Naka land settlement. Is he not a Gambian? Farmer rights to apply for land.
Bamba Mas.
For is it because Fenda Usenu Dabo as a result, she is exempted from land application. That is wrong. That is unfair.
Bamba, Ilamoy, Yemen for the hypocrisy of Gambians, Mba Sembentu Yala. Yefem for commission set. Those that are now accusing Usenu and Barrow both, that part of it will mankela interest. Je mankela interest. Bari left nying Chief Justice la nying plaso left nga akoyindi. Ni ko ya di Chief Justice la amanke ko ya di Asan Jallo lela. This was the designated residence of Chief Justice Ntola Policia Wato. Sir Philip Bridges, Jelema la residence. So, Ning Baroka Foko, ye Fenko Bondi member itandila ko ye Ning allocate Chief Justice layer. It's nonsense. It's just like the Vice President's residence in Fajara. It's just like State House number 2 in Bakau Memphele Tourist Market Bala.
Kabirim Fourth Republic. Woodlap was designated for Chief Justice. Mansakundale Mansembo Sotokalo.
Yes, bring him bari left a fan.
Hello, Mr. Bojang.
Alinso. Yaje Barrow is very smart. He brought this to deflect from the major blunderment ayaki. So he brought this so that until setara kanyo sabala nanyina di major issue la. But a major issue nying nafikia membeje and membe ntolu bondila from this kind of divisive politics. Wole mnyintiko fonga very strong people Lesotho within civil society membe lola ya condemn. Look at what the how to call it, a National Commission for Human Rights. They wrote to Barrow, but ya safaye dumale. Whereas we've seen instances where the opposition made statements, Mayor Lonkoya Filko is divisive, they came out public. But in the case of Barrow, ya Kumandi Dumale, they spoke to him. I was also watching an interview on Fatu Network, Care Fatu, for Inter-Party Committee. When they brought them to talk about this, they dodged the problem rather than calling it for what it is. Nafiki asifa wole nyanta bola ninko na nying divisive politics by. Mustafa, Aziz. Yalo ninkombe duna into this little nitty gritties. The major issue and the major topic here, which is Barola divisive politics and why we are not tolerant to divergent views. No water down. And it is being watered down by this very trivial matter.
No, it's among watered down. Minketa drong, you know, yalong kacha aka kumayale near reference ni situations or sample alta puriela kumo sembentuya. Yalong ila intolerance nying intingafo. That is, you can find that in UDP, you can find it more in NPP. You can find it in the GDC, even in DOI, because DOI ngaje kabring pasamba tata nung malong po Gambian embassy ya occupy galia suspend. So GDC ngaje ning mamakande ning MC Cham Junior problem sort of for whatever reasons. Okay, recently we've seen Yunus Haidara Afuntita when he spoke. I Savero like in Facebook, and you know, a lot of the UDP, most UDP supporters, Funtita, Dolfanka claim he is not even a bona fide member of UDP. When he is registered, he has paid and has his membership. So Ibajila Wolves is within every party. In NPP, if you talk against Barrow, they come after you, they call you names, you know, because Baraman, Doko Dila, blah, blah, you can call nonsense also. But those who know, Iwulia Loneko, Itel Kamenfo, you know, is utter nonsense. Until Nyanta Ming Kachala, Wolemko, Nyanta political tolerance sotola, Nyanta divergent views entertained within the party. Because new woman ke drong and nyatu tabuka soto. Because ni intebe NPP, I cannot express my opinion, especially opinion minya lonko is against, you know, Barola opinion, or is against the party opinion, or is against the government. You know, if Ejela as come here for nyaming, iman lafi bankola Kairola. Or because Imam Palaso di la Volatina Ifundita Ekadiam. So new for in the opposition, Ikafokoha, you are exposing the party's internal problem outside. You are making, you know, the government or the other political parties yalonko munebe caring within the party. So Wolbuka Abuka party Sambano in fact na miralnya asikleya nibe kuofola esalonko nyinkumo asahayata. Janibe fundi la banda ye diam e nyanta ko kisikisi la bake ninga nyimfo banda, you know, ntebe mune soto laje, what would the people gain out of this, or what would the party benefit from this? Ndinga miracle, every individual ni funtita ka diamu in public. Your main objective wule muka mulma koi ila faham ya ay lafa.
Suleiman
ka mol kala mutandi lako nyinu min be kering sang amam betea aning silomanta. Yes, Bamba.
Suleiman yalong Mustafa mbe programme jube kan on ker fatu na kafunyoma Lamin Jamba Jammeh mba konton na bake me yalong ko atele mu NPP la West Coast chairman ti aninte fon doma ebe kacha kan kacha dima ba na kuma kilim moy Lamin la wodula yente fon kijo para ako itoluniaje mampare baro e boje sain nimbaro boda je la patio man sembo soto folo kapum patio lemu ye molle kafu nyoma andum patio be damen a man strong enough wole antine to lafta baro e tenteng beyond 2026 ngo where is our collective effort to remove Jammeh Nindalilo Kanko Jammeh has self-perpetuated himself and Gambians almost 89.8% during the last last round menketa puruka draft constitution nyindada mo keme mo tan signing kononto anin tala wolbe ko imalla fi president wa itaraje katambi sanjitan
okay
gambe
Bamba.
dingo karkido be no mbada Mustafa mso domande ngadulale bay ni PP ya fil ko itolu baro itaraje wole tol favor than the Gambia having a parliamentary a system whereby president be two-termless sotola atinna they renegade on the two-term pledge even though it is not in the constitution. Gambia dingo be nyanta jelal ko NPP has betrayed the concept of the very reason Barrow came to power. So these people are no longer there because of Ilafta Barrow Edokoke. They are there because they want to self-perpetuate themselves on the Gambian people. Ilafta fan tutula Gambia even against their will, using the incumbency.
Neo Mulba Flaby UDP la wol neko fo. But lafta min fola jambamba.
No. Batunga jabe je. You know see him for. Andong dabo ye wole for. Ako he is going to be the leader of UDP for ning saya or kurango mimba tinna atete kenola leader ti wole ba bondila je andung amamoje miya lonko wosi fitno ka ke UDP biara in 2026 ning dabo ye wofo is the same as NPP ye minufo because baro dabo kami italiko let me just finish. Yalong min kumayada come as it's coming for. Nkana be kachanya and drill into this and that issue, particular issues. Because nyanta min propagate la be wulem momo nyanta political tolerance exercise la nyanta diverge views encourage la within the parties. Even though it may not sit well with our leaders or with some of our executive members or even some other rank and file party members. Wole kumayata because come here for nyameng ning NPP wofo wole muila mi that's what they want ilafta Barrow because atele muila nyaton koti pour kata 2026 saying would depend on the Gambian electorate whether it will be would dealer about dealer MPP by voting for Barrow or is for no. We are not going to accept that because last two-time nyingi na last mo mia lonko ni aketa nyaton koti have two-time introduce la andum de also. So we are not going to vote for Barrow because ninya voter is going to sit. So what depends on the Gambian electorate.
Yes, Suleiman Nsonte la Kumola, and the same applies to even Dabo. Dabo can say his wishes.
I want to come there, Aziz. Lafta Purka Suleiman de Maji ko. Dabo e kuma come for in Spain. Ko atelemu party leader ti janning saya batarlaje. That is true. Don't lafta le puru Dabo e ke party leader ti. But party leader and flag bearer are different.
But Lafta dorong ngamurung back to the main topic. Adung lafta alima ko ila demanding with history nga fo dorong al hakilo ba mala. Nimol ya miracle UDP was the most stubborn opposition in the history of the Gambia. No. NCP was the most stubborn. NCP, when they were in opposition, they were ready to fight.
Yes.
Mune Banko ke Kilinti, the flag, the leader, Jawara. Whatever language ye molu pacify. Because regardless of UDP kamem forma, min atebe jabila, abuke jabi in that like manner. He talks about policies. This is what we are missing in our current leadership. Jawara was called all names during that time. President Bondo Tebaila, that was a song. But it nene time where Jawara is at a platform, I will jabi in a like manner. Ninamu the politics the men be, that is the interface, that is the politics of tolerance. More better exercise. And our party surrogates are going to be surrogates. But it's a leader. You can set the tone for what is to come because it's an influencer. What is that tone? A pacifying tone, a unifying tone. Until fota walla.
Okay, Aziz. Maru nga jang malom fo ning alsam mako eno janto. Coming yalong ntenga lon ete yalong sol yalong bamba yalong ko nyim problemo abe UDP la nyim programo abe NPP la comme Sulemani afal diamo kono PDOIS abe patiol bela nying intolerance and diverse fengo comme mola
no Mustafa amantara patiol beto ntaman sonde
sole wala fajan sol fo amantara patiol
ni intolerance is in the Gambia abe Gambia bele to
Bamba badinala
getting politics out abe Gambia dingo fongo bele to generally intolerance.
Okay, good. Bamba yalong nyimu fenne te mi yalong fasa jara wala fumol sa kalamta because ni wonde yalong kukile bamba malo meneka atin nan tolbe mbuka Gambia follow jeno na cool kono because ning ngani inculcate no mol kono
asi jara no because asisi afo ako Jawara ala specify to ni wole Gambia unify no. Okay, ngalon tere kabri mo dindingolti NPP ning no PPP ning NCP ye kele baki sale garba in Sandu ye busa je kendeke. So we were young. We were to MC Cham ay ning karwaso ning for skin ye wolita yake lemar. So PPP call ye wo Jamal sosono kabri ye benta sare garba ye berol na mama muso fa ya kungoteje. So ike NCP call busale bake with those lemarol. What's sort of between NPP and within NCP and MPPP. But Jawara and Kebal ikadiamu within themselves. Ibuka extend out of politics. But until saying everything can extend into politics. So there was a time lawyer Dabo. No, let me just comment. Malon Jumale Nendirol Keno Nendirol Theater. That was late in the night. Lawyer Dabo Funtita I audio that has some great effect on some of the UDP militants and in surrogate soul. Wawato covering after that Nendirol from UDP or Ning Kelol and Wolsifal Italaka Bake. So wole nyanta kake political leaders will nyanta no nkawole fo baro nene ma moy hanna yake nene ma moy and I am expecting even
president of the Gambia.
I am expecting more of that from him, more especially as the president of the country. Ani mo puntita akaneng aning kusifal anyanta fola woli alkana jabi alkana kele ntele mu mansati because nimbanke mansati nung molte nenna nimbanke mansati nung molte funti like kanni. It's like my wife sometimes nimole comments okay anioka kwele so akalavi like jabi kai no kane jabi don't get involved. Guy, once I write something and put it out in the public, I've got no control over it. And the world would react into it in the way they feel and think. So it depends on me how I interact with those people. Don't be ila comments or mbuke reply. But dol bije because ngalongo nyinu mu public influential or opinion influential ni kuma dol for nke jabi we get nka engage, we share ideas so that the audience can learn. But niman fundi in the public niman saveroke jumale benna, nobody would insult me. So if I go out in the public, I am opening myself to be held accountable by the public. So in Teta Fola, I would hold leaders into account. Therefore, nobody would hold me into account. So where is my genuinity? So we need to understand that.
Yes. Hanimbide, I'm going to hammer on this because Nadi Kiko is an opportunity. Adu Gambian Kolunyanta Jele Jela. Yaje Nyatonko, I influence Sotobaki. Be dressed be dressed to nimbaroye dress alafa molbay asanale ke dress on. That's the level of influence I mentioned. If you use that influence for a good cause, you will have very good outcomes, including ning iteka steps to unify the country. Imagine B, for instance, moye lo ye baro criticize. I moki du makafaiko alafu nyie na bankata I memfa importantly I na say akaiko definitely can memfo is important. Can we see what we can do about it? This is what leaders do. Adika oke santole kake dumala.
Masai Aziz, yamana na tebuko oke. Yamana na buko oke.
Wala nankoeko Baro has some anger management problem. Menu be baro bala komen Suleimani afo nyaming. Mafoko everyone is genuine. No, bari jamaa beje wallahi ninga bitadula ke ka file ni futate se nyimfu. But it comes out of the blue for them. I jeke dorong I fem for komen nyemfo. Everyone runs scrambling to justify it because you don't want to disassociate yourself with it. Adi mali ba defend la nyame. Bari nko
Aziz, that source code.
Exactly. Nkamemfo. Gambian call. We don't even need to go to the university to learn. Just look across the border. Senegal la politics jibe. Makisal la Pastef nendiro beleka. He has never publicly come out to denounce them or threaten them. Pastor Fele Besiring, ikakuo bele for him in less than 4 months. Every allegation is being made against them. Listen to Basiru Jomaifai, who is even younger than Barrow. How come Barrow cannot learn? How come Menulbe Barrow Balade cannot even remind him of those things? How come civil society Mealonko B wolle nyanta kila the guidance of our democracy, of our politics, of our diversity? How come they don't have the courage? When Senegal needed the change and to hold the government accountable, civil society came out and took the lead. Be anyone from civil society ni will take a foileko item opposition. They shame you and threaten you. Where's our?
I think that is a major issue. A lot of people fundi banda in the public yediam. But when you speak to them in private, they would tell you, they would speak hours complain upon complaint. For it you won't understand. I'll tell you, why are you not acting or reacting?
No, because Suleiman, they can only become whistleblowers because near Korosi, Nkoeko Gambia 80% yelemata nafi quality because menkake ikata mansale ya fa ko Suleiman Malafila. Nkoya jela kamenu safe. Yenyi ridle, yenyi mfenkele. Anu baro mu molti me alon ko mbe kukilim fola. Baro aka kamfa baki. Apukala
mole ya fonye even na video or na article dol ka print le ka samba ya ka fa jube.
I know that Mustafa ntena ka si State House lenin president ka konton nyoka. Baro could be a very nice man. ning aya taraf ku killing ayo manage no wala mu ñente ko ñunu menu be ka wura balate what are they able to achieve for him pour ay banko ñing sambano with a united mind ni wa mawto ansano anyante bele bondi la bala because he man na fa soto number 2 anyanta jube la te fon fanam fi aka kamfa baki because ni akilo baka wati tambira baro ya push fola ba nata lota on the podium ako momo ebe do ko la civil service imantara na man sakunda support kay kan na man sakunda support be bayna leta yet salada no wota te bulu wobe alale bulu asay bay no yes boy na salada no wobe alale bulu so bari ka voye salada ne aka emphasize in the sense that kombe bayla bata so yaje men sakeo me alon ko wala marta banko la ni waya start kala do kulalu threaten Gambia do ko be damen do ko do hana mani do ko nyina la siata do ko ti
Bamba as is coming for ko mental issues so what if ekole Bamba ne jamfo
no maybe in terms of mental issue I think he has anger issue mental wise malo bari baroka kamfa baki baroka kamfa le fasi so kakuma aka kamfa andun anyanta wo kamfa control la bakele because he is the president andun na amori chabo le babul
Exactly.
na amori ni atara baro kidi ta Gambian ta silal baro amori le chabo babul he is the chief executive he can give an order today and it will be executed whether it is a wrong order or whether it is a right order because ndolla army wolfana ko berole beje e ka fola ko we go by command order police wolfana ka fo we go by command or order whether it is a right order or wrongful order they execute it and carry it out and that is very very scary walantina birim barolota on the podium ako manta bula man sala foni usen dabo fata anda mandangal ateda na fada malade abe falale ngata bade nte I was scared because I know this man can be angry I know mole mata ka kamfale ntenga wolo 100%
I've reached out I've reached out to certain including you Bamba.
Yes, Sol, go ahead.
I've reached out to certain UDP senior officials, including you. Inko nin alkana buladrong ay fed wonya. Wama demonstrational ke right to stakeholders, right to all the governments mini alonko ika Gambia support le in one way or another. I'll emphasize wolbenala ibidiamula and that could make some changes. Fulanjango molminka for amamin I don't think wol are genuine because near Barola body language jube when he was saying this thing he meant every word I mean utter. By his body language you can see this man meant everything because Ntenga Minuje the reason why he said that because he is scared ko ni UDP mansayata barobal dabo bal lanol busila bulu andong ala fingol iba busila bulu that is what he said from my understanding wole atina ate mansaya bulala po dabo efa meaning ko aman because probably ni dabo botaje someone else ni wo mansayata wotala na fulotala but even if namanke UDPT doi or GDC or maybe SFL new winter probably they would want to look into these things
Exactly.
so I take a min for and fulanja ngonying ate manke alati aning alaman contract so ate fire alone neko for dabo leba badela he doesn't know
Exactly.
aga wo is dabo ya malong sama dabo sa bade no
ne man mela kuma kunto Mustafa malom fali nyabe nyinje kaneba is it this picture nyi ale nyinjel this is Gambia's ambassador to Turkey Alkali Conte Alkali nin jumale be nyim pichoto Suku Singate second vice president of NPP aning Sidi Sise administrative secretary of NPP. You understand? It's MPP-led government. But government, you are representing the people. The United Democratic Party Tata in Turkey, Al-Khali doesn't meet them. And he is the ambassador. But Al-Khali is attending the same conference with these people in Turkey, which he arranged and organized. So Gambia dollar taxpayers are paying Al-Khali to, instead of serving us, he's serving the MPP. There are a lot of violations of our constitution because there is a civil service code. As is, you know, Suleiman, you know, you were both senior police officers. You all know the civil service code. You all know the GO, you all know the FI. You all know the general orders. More than Gambia, even though civil service, general orders long. And one civil servants should disassociate themselves publicly from politics. You can belong to a political party, you can support a political party, but you cannot come out publicly to support a political party, because the reason why Gambia for civil servants would always remain.
Abe koirin perko akoitelo ko perekano ko abe kerin ngalon ne ko abe kerin akakele wondema
wala
Yes, man say aba jaral no nyaadi la because bamba ko jara nyam bole fola mule nga mo nyame di
abe jaral no nyew la nyame is very simple. Ning ayata na banko di mulu yaje ko ila tax dollar ila tax dalasi men ka dum anyanta dun na men kunna ni yaje ntolo nga president da hande fengo bela Mustafa nka jo salary la salary me alongo na diata ay beke salati ay jamol supply hani dendi ko parastamol waranto chungom na ya tabiti ko ton dolle kajo excluding kajo salary men. On top of that, President Yalone on the Lands Act, he is not even entitled to apply much more to be given a land. Among entitled the fund because Korla Kolontola Babul Brea assessor declare. So on that virtue of that, among qualified to apply for a land. The Minister of Lands a land diwala. Moma nyanna wo compare with another Gambian citizen may apply land tabul. It all compare one. Just because for the fact that Usenu Dabo Dimola, Mtabukala Fikanyan Dulanda Moy, Kafa Usenu Dabo Dimola Wanala Musolemu, Odalilo Kam, Baronaya signed it, Usenu Dabo Fanana Dimbal Nyanta land inside. I said no. Because Adama Barola land is Uniajan Dunta Kono, Adama Baro land apply, land me alonko. Number one, he's not entitled to apply. Number two, he got it not legally. I'm not sure legally. Amantani Luala, Amantani Sinola, it's against the land act.
Nana Maketa made a very good observation. Ako, even though Fenda is entitled to apply for a land in the Gambia by virtue of her citizenship, Ako mo niya lonko a farmer is a figure, a political figure, Mia lonko is aspiring to become a president. Kudol bije niba kela enyanta miralako. If I do this, what ripple effect would it have on my dad's career? So saying Nia Jube, if she had thought about this, she's entitled. But it's saying she because Iola Nosoto, it is dragging her father into this argument, even though he may be innocent in her getting the land.
Not maybe innocent, he's innocent.
Yeah, so no, that means for Yalong. Yes, let me harama majehal for lima bugare. Hamga all of you dewa. Amna lo hamne rafet na way jaduut. Amna lo hamne tamit dafay jadu te rafetut. So you do mi adame bi sa hel mola wara meli. Ah lide rafet na way jaduut duma ko def. Oh lide jaduut way rafet na harama def ko ndax rafetal ko.
Wow.
But Suleiman, that's morality versus legality.
Exactly. In politics don't wanna follow legality most of the time. It's the moral aspect. And if you look at the public is more concerned on the morality of the politicians' act than the legality of their act.
Yes.
But Suleiman, my surprise is Mundalile Atina. Gambia di will be alonko Adama Baro nyin keno nyinta moman complaint moman diamu moman femfo ngat Gambia la nafiki ya memfo wo me ente nyoku ya ko belo Adama Baro
more complaint let's give chance to Ali to Assis. Yeah,
let Assis go ahead.
Suleiman Nana Man Ketala observation are genuine. Adun Sonta. If Fenda had thought this through, tomorrow she would have done it differently. And maybe this would have been the best time to apply when her dad is in opposition. Yeah, just sometimes na song hanintara among ill intention soto. The timing was wrong. Bari nte hanimbi, I'm going to go back to how can we fix this problem?
Precisely.
Political intolerance.
Tolerance and in diverse political views, yes.
Ntefe, lack of awareness is one thing. Bari na institutions manyanta to raise political awareness. Institutions like civic education. Mune mila program oti adi ka mune ika Gambian call sensitize munela. Yaje modu buke nyinin kanyina de. I wonder whether ika Gambian call sensitizely on governance, the role of government, the role of opposition, the role of civil society. And when I say civil society, is anyone who is not part of the government. Not like a sensitized nina.
So alhake to the domoro lota.
Ndung ntefe wo kuma yata back. Because nimbuka woke, we continue komeka ikana taxpayers monitor kata civic education lella. Aduntulu buka long ikagambian kolu teach munela bari hanimbi ndul kamenje wole munyintiko. Gambian kolu are still the same people that they used to be. Woto sila nyinin karnyan takela wotole. Nyinin le mukolu timeng bi ning ya race isa understand no. Imagine bi ning ntol nyimmo nanol memfele jang bi nin yentole samba num base. Insita nimbase nkoli nyatiling to raise awareness on civic education be mune fole in relation to Mansakunda Katama Nyadi. Mustafa nyinu lem problem olt. Men natana kuo kole andi kende ke. Fuaria e forea domo. Fuaria e tilingo domo.
Okay,
because of fuaria kama molu manghani kakube kutofo. Be example dilela. Na private sector man sembo soto. In Senegal B, most government criticize nearby some star private sector employee. Ntolu B ninye by position to near by Gambia. Ibela banna komenda atebaro e memfo. Ibela banna tala sadada nola. That's the reality. And when a country is at that level, it takes only strong men of strong character to stand up regardless of the consequence. I cannot imagine a university professor relinquishing their position and to become a spokesperson, a spin doctor for a government. Ngawoleje mune wono fuaria mambetia.
But Aziz, in a jevo, nkamira minna before, ndolmanke keba de barindela dindia wado, molman sotoke bar mol wasatale. Aziz.
Character. It appeals to character. Wala nung koiko strong people of character.
Because what's a balea? Tonyalo, what's a balea? Because they are jibe follow to political kenyame molka nyo accommodate nole pia mola carola. Molka nyo accommodate nole siol la carola. Molka nyo accommodate nole fanna bela carola. But bitilo, ndolka foko follow to molka kenyame. Asis ngamre nyatu taso tuta wole kono ani nyomo yo tuta wole kono kambango tuta wole kono dan bitilo abenyame. Okita no nyadi anu sai ko sai the mol kuninda sai the mol nyaele sa kumalamba where do we stand
again ngajawara sambana nko nyatonko has the influence and can set the tone for what society is likely to be. A couple of days back I was watching Ajiam Seka of UDP was explaining political tolerance during Jawara time. Ako Jawara tata swearing ceremony la, no, ngamira nomination at the Supreme Court. Supreme Court at the time, police headquarters be damning. Abenung woleto. Abe fintila nang aning GPP Andrew Musa Lamolo. Iwurita Jawara jipo. Laba o Jawara koyo ko alimba tuma fintina mutoko. A fintita lota koyo ko mijipani. Abanta jelo keta, wuruta nyoka. Ate tambita tata la State House, tata la nomination la. Munaning at that time, Jawara konunko alinyinul busa. Ntolebe sembo kono. What would happen? What would have been the outcome? Mbe nyine kono. Ndumpurunga finti kono, we need to bring back those histories. Pur molsa lonko, there is richness in diversity. Fonga wole ke Gambia no lukungo kono, bari ntol fana fango ma wole emphasize. Nkamune emphasize ha bari kariya ketenne, ha bari nyinule fana niko nyinole si isafo netotol fana sunka mabula.
Basa was about Aziz difference difference the NPP ni UDP otoko ninga menol bonya difference ye otofo.
No, difference bejele. The difference is MPP is the party in power. They don't have to act like opposition. But when the party in power is behaving like the opposition, then we are in trouble. We are in trouble. That is what I mean. Because Jawara time, the ruling party don't act as the party in opposition. What are they focused on? Ruling. What are they focused on? Policies. Ninjawarati diamuta ngawo foile. And I have been an orderly to MC Cham, who was a very strong member of PPP at the time. Ninjawara bita campaign every region. Akela problemo solve wala akela problemo diamu according to atela policies menulu landi or ala programs men landi for that particular area. Ndolumo wo soto Jawara nene lota la ko meng malafi abadi ngo meng malafi wala meng malafi banning kanatara in power. Jawara understood what it takes because Mobe left a minute wala soto. Bari ning ite obeta inyinata ko obebulu and you are now acting like opposition. It's sad. Bari Gambian call nate te sembentu ya by also supporting you to act as opposition because mamoje memfintita kafu baro eko you cannot act as opposition. We will not hold the opposition accountable to Mamfen dealer until Nasembo dealer. You are our primary target. And we will hold you responsible for that. That's the starting point. Gambia no nyanta can start damning. But in Yine Bukafo. No, Baroy Mol Sada Boled.
Asis. Asis, ye society ye nyao dauda. Nyatonko ke kalanko manko la obanko is on the verge of doom.
Exactly.
Because mobe ka nyato le jube. Mustafa, wala nanko ko masibo le bentol dal. Mobe ka nyato le jube, mobe la ftata nyato. But sila ni nyatonko ke kalanko manko la do. Ijantalo na ko banko is in big shit, is in big trouble. NPP mfeonfe kedro ni afoidro isafoiko. Bari UDP fana nyinkel. So UDP le UDP nyanta wole jela ko ngaje ko. Hani NPP fond those that suppose more kamenu je nyato wole fond kan tolle je to nyato wole ke kalan tolle la wole ka woton tolle nyanta leadership tala. Let Dabo take leadership from Barrow. Kabo bila akana Barrow jabi akana Barrow atebe banko de la nyama focus wokal no move on ngata ndolonga nyaka ti Barrow la nala confused.com. Because obviously, Ndabuka understand a cabinet minister Ahmad Ba, Biryani Ninka Jamila to Astafurlai, Alama Barola Lanukola, Akwamina Jabiro Kala. What he came up with is so childish. Usenu Dabo and his family benefited. So Ahmad Ba knows very well adama yin keno men so amanya na so but ha to nyala ma aluka amanya na so to nyala amanya na so but California ya so tole. Can you imagine that? Does that make even sense? Gambian people want to know for baro nyimmen so is it legitimate, is it legal? Anyantale kaso to ma land act ye munefo as cabinet minister ngamira natale aka kaito later ndi parliament la ko ibe modole samba kam police pour police ole arrest police ko to mari arrest nola ngamira amal ba fa nata ko e tourism beti nyandi amal ba okay on an individual, but because ala principal memo boss te me ateta do kola amal la fikao hot, he came out and tried to dribble the entire country. That is disingenuous. That is totally wrong. Nko mbeko ko never again alinga banko put on a better footing. Gambia no lusaya tutatu lebulato la moirlan ala jube bang comparison mol menu ka ko MPP ni UDP they are 6 and 9 wol kan tol nenne obviously because mobe ana ko usenu dadu na pare da bi Mustafa usenu dadu he just need one phone call tomorrow he will be vice president of the Gambia.
Left Mustafa Mbita because Nima wants to go out at Umba Sambala, but it just left a kundim for the B. Ning Gambia Patiolu Bay and civil society ketako UDP. Tomorrow from Gambia better on right footing. Because UDP is probably the only party Mea Lonko. Always they challenge government action through the courts. It's the only party Ngamenje Mea Lonko if government government excesses it all like actually. No one wants to credit that to the UDP.
But as no,
it's not about that. It's not about that. When I speak in public, but I try as much as possible to not to be partisan. I don't only try can. But let's look at the history. B. Ning Tarakomen actions men UDP Kata legal actions. Even if you have other parties, join them. But just make a declaration. We want to join UDP in this. Well, a civil society. Mawo Soto. And we have seen this happening in Senegal, and that is what brought about the change. Aduntolukasi, Senegal fought for their change. It's the civil society that added their voice to the opposition in bringing about change, in challenging government excesses, abuses.
Gambians, are we ready?
But still a nimam parewola. I don't want to entertain the debate of UDP MPP. It's nonsense. It's not UDP. It's MPP. It's Barrow and the government.
Natax dalasi be NPP mansakunda le kataman.
So
thank you, Aziz. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
Aziz abaraka. Mustafa nimbe tonya fasala. Mbebe ajubela kontolu nga bankole je mamfangoje. Mobe nyanta alon na lako United, like as he said, United Democratic Party. For instance, Birim Mansakunda the illegal appointment of governors. UDP le court case in Samba court. No other opposition party supported us. We single-handedly handled that. Mansakunda realized during fat the governor will be falling with deputy permanent secretaries. That was not a victory for UDP. That was a victory for the Gambia because Mansakunda beluale tinyakam. Luamawofo. Also, Mansakunda kanyi molmeni alonko ike appointment alonko they have dual citizenship. UDP lea umof. Mansakunda realized there are some ministers many alonko they have dual citizenship. They started changing them because yalon neko instead of many alonko wole nyanta Mansakunda put la to task. Deputy Bumot. Wole nyanta checks and balances solta nol mela do ko ken dol as a political party ndol medla do ko helal. Kaitan de Gambia do la ko well atole banko di nyunu la bari this and that is what they are doing. Musafa ndola banko fonia jube. Mansakunda with all the privileges na mendila even deputy board. President killing, more killing. Banko Bay, Gunjuru Bay, gunjun fawla mande gunjun nala waro be nyame kombo not be ibe kan den ye mo kilin tombo ya samba debite mo kombo not be womumo wili jelete wolbe ka mo kilin da mal samba wala be kombo not be represent la bari nata nyim batara constitution lol nata nyim constitution fulo me man tiling alal hakotu nyede mbe tonya fol anu tonya ni ba fola foya ne dimo kabirin jawara la time ye constitution fulo samanan be alon ko it will always favor the incumbent member marlor yalo this is not about NPP, this is about how UDP ninto nada nimbe marlola mbe privilege la sopla and fe that is a wrong privilege because nim banko dingol base deng ye député killing tombo president killing manya na député lulu tombo na faye a killing pet ateka mo lulu tombo ke ki député mo to speak for him ala in one other party members all man killing pa Mustafa woman fair woman ke democracy wonte democracy wom cheating nati president kilim manyana molul tombo na banko be kabirin ko na fokato sefu banko se banko be kade ka mo kilin da matombo ite presidento banko dingol le dum fanan kana karto fayde yena na sembo fanan so rekili molul tombo pour elete represent député bon woni la parti wala député wol mankile Mustafa il faut yo jube wo manke democracy so nyin timbali al bebe keri
Baba niya jibe komi be min fokan yalon tilimbalia akeke Gambia dingol lel parce que wo Gambia dingol fanga akeke min la bamba ning wolia accept dum wo be nyaade la wo kido be nyaade la because akeke min la yalon na ba ke kaylale parce que ning wol fanga ya accept dum ya muta wo nyama e ka continuer afe wo nyama bamba malo wo kido be nyaade la di bamba Kadung is interesting ni ataranung ika foko abekerine molba kekan gambe dingol nyaba jela ba kekayla bari ibika fen react ibika fen foje ibika fen bono je bam akeki gambe dingol min fo imalon ne bang fo imam kunin ne bang fo ila sotola kataraje soto mi alon ko itole amera ko nieto nyafo iba fole la palaso lal wala nieto nyafo ite ibejela ko ite mo opposition on de wala iba fole you are a threat to ite mo ika president against
yes Mustafa mente la kumo hani mente but la ya complete fan Mustafa wo classical example be janne ñun Suleiman men fele lorinte ñun Suleiman mo be alon ne fanko Suleiman mo NPP le daga NPP le so in fact watil tamida Suleiman la safero NPP ke balu wala le bari mu nekeda biri yaje ko Suleiman nim baro ma keku aka fitina na open le afay ko iman nyin keku what they did was Suleiman la fonko le kuntu ke screenshot kate read baro nyaati lewol kafa ko look ite ka mire nyin lapte la nyim mal lapila and Suleiman just wo mu kilinati each and everyone in fact ila formal to nim mello ta ko ha no president o nyin ndiro men ka manyan na kila han baro nyim men foko usenu mbitala bade otole ndebe la formal tole nde mobile sabale bembul Mustafa ngo fole mobile ke mala bentebul nano baso dolbe je because Gambia be bakle fagle nano baso dolbe je NPP ko talo nola wulbe fani la
NPP be ndega ngamo kilinne je NPP mume kungonin duma kara samba fo malo ko kara samba le mado no di ne wudam male funkita no it's kara samba la to aka fo kara samba on Facebook, we friends on Facebook. Kara samba, he's the only one that came out. Ako, for the first time, he is disagreeing with his party leader. But apart from Nenemang NPP Moje, Honey Kling.
No, but remember, Suleiman, within the executive, within the NPP leadership, within the NPP leadership.
But
because me and Dola Party UDP. UDP ite fon ka jele on social media. UDP more fon ka funtile. This is wrong. This is wrong. This is wrong. Nyimanya na kela. Like nana ma mena fon kori. Nana ma supports the UDP. Like Yunus Hydra supports the UDP. But we have divergent views. UDP don't na dinne wolbe murana ne ba foleko. No kana hukuma sifa. What buy nola. But they always like, for instance, during the Finti Nanga Safaro Keko, I support Mamadou Tangara's candidature to become the Secretary General of the Commonwealth. Some members of the UDP didn't like it. But ntemaje ko Momo Tangara being my political adversary, nyanta silale nga kele for nabota Gambia man sakunda dokola. Anyanta doko men sotla approve nga kele ufanana. I don't think so. I don't think like that. Nisi political rivalry. Suleiman Nimba Mamas, everybody knows we are cat and mouse here. But if you see us in the street, we are best of friends. Ntoleka boy nkawuli. Political tentinya nola. Suleiman funny atata bota Suleiman la karola, but ntenga alo na tebola atela karo because Suleiman is mature. Ntenga men believe wala mo indiko Suleiman nimma convince no I join in tekang. Atete convince no because ntenga alo neko Suleiman is on the wrong side. Maybe atafana mbente jela kwa I'm on the wrong side. You understand it? That would be debated among us. But in that faith, billahi wallahi ta'ala, I have this strong belief ko. President Adama Barrow, as long as he is with these useless advisors, Menubabulu, they can never, ever, ever. And Barrow Hana 2026 win. He will be an angry president for 2031. Okay, because the reason why at the Kukende Kenol.
Sole femfala diamo kona ko MPP be mo kile ne fundi da pour kanyin ko condemn. Wait a minute and this all. Wait a minute and this.
Ali yemine itandi psychopathy no? Because and I don't I think Baro Nyanta understand nako. Not everybody member criticize kang wole I hate. Or not everybody member criticize kang wole man lafi I succeed. In fact, min keta jama minuba bala minuka for her, you are right, you are this, you are that, wole man la fala. Because those people do ma, ikaminu for baro yenaye wo moy. He wouldn't even want to see them again in his life. Iba bala suto nintilo, ikaminu for anyato, anu ikaminu for akoma, abuko suto nintilo. And baro should know that by now. More any data for you are over 60, you should be able to identify more menu laftela nyato tala and menu be bala pur ilatino damala and menu be bala pur ketinya enyanta ka wosutele. Because generally baro manke malaikoti, so hadama dingole mati, and he knows ko he can make mistake, and menu ba bala woli alongo he can make mistakes. Sometimes you say things, they come out of the wrong way. It's just like at the beginning, Eko Bamba has your private number. Is only Bamba that has his private number. So tell Murifra fault. We laughed about it. So for us, it came out in the wrong way. Ite ya for nyaming, anu ya mean nyaming, imanke klinti. So sometimes Baro could say things me alonko, ama inten molia receive nyaming. But in Iwoketa, the best thing is to tell him, look, Mr. President, Imomoti, to make people love you more, go and tell them you are wrong. You should not have said this and apologize. People will respect him more. They will love him more.
Saul, how do we inculcate that?
By telling him that. Menuba bala wulle nyandaka wofai. Because at the end of the day, ni Baro Tata, they're all going with Baro. Because Molbe Balonako, they're not good people. But in Natara mo kendel, even if Baro Tata, government do nata, I be retained because Ialoneko, these people are genuine and they've delivered their key, KPIs, key performance indicators, you fulfill them. But if not, you just say, that's why in Africa, the whole government changes. Abeka falling, even with the civil service, top civil servants. Because those people are there just for the government. Hani Kuoye is going wrong, they cannot come out and challenge it. So, pour Gambia etanyato, ntelbe nyanta understand nako, mbele denta. Alaman tankala nim problem ketaje. Baro look at Jammeh now. For instance, Molia accuse mol fight limbalia mimbeki abe minto abe siri Equatorial Guinea ala dimbaale ibijele who are suffering now. Gambia for high cost of living, rent, coal, transportational. Jumalebe Bataka. Is it Jammeh and his family? No. is the average Gambian. So nyanta wolon nako ning Baro botaje. Gambia would remain and we would remain. And Baro cannot be a president forever. So we would be accounted for. History will judge us. Because someone somewhere wanting to write the history of the Gambia would look into our social media files and Akasol. Kajube. Bambaye Munekenung at this time, what did he say? I munefo, I muneke. Suleimani munefo, I muneke. Mustafa munefo, I muneke. Or your own kids may ask you, when all this thing was going on about land grabbing or Baro Wisindabo, a dead wish, Aliye munefo ye, what did you say? So these are things we need to think about. So when we are faced to have that uncomfortable or difficult conversation, as Atarako, we have contributed to the best of our ability in the interest of the greater good, rather than our own individual interest. Because Jama Menuka Barote, if Baro has changed sign, Baroko, the Daboy, I'm sorry, Ngaminufo is wrong. Hakobo Ndinyi. You would be surprised to see how these people will come out and say, Baro is right, I mean for Wole Betiata, Wole Nyinta. But when they were the same people who were telling him he isn't wrong, he's right. He has nothing to apologize for.
But Saul, you don't think that's a replica of Ndolbe Nyameng?
Exactly. La Balia Alabijele, lack of knowledge and experience or independence, Wobijele. It's like I said, I would never be a liability anywhere in this world. Ntata Dawuda in Dunia Kono. I can make a living without depending on someone else. Bari Jamal Bije niye bondi mansa kundato baroye mimfo ibekela sada dani lalti. Because they are not investing in themselves, they are not improving themselves so that they can become independent. And more, if you are not independent, ila froya buka taraje. Because ibuka hanyi katonya for.
So
because
ila nyinsilo miyata ila nyinsimfami bata kang yamira ko wolon sila kendo. But yamira fo.
Absolutely.
Yamira wolon sila kendo. But yamira fo. Gambian ol kete la woje wo nyamala la yamira fo nyinse keno kutile purka dundi molbe kono ko nin na nyaton ko nse kangwali no le baro martin na nga headle nka mako ele
no in all ideal democracy in all ideal democracy I think it's the leaders that need to set that space. Itelle nyantela more encourage la so that they can be I think a clear example is like this hospital. They have what they call open door duty of care, wherein near mistake you would not hide it. You would come and say, oh Mustafa, I'm sorry, I've made this mistake. Isajeko, we would use that as a learning point. Bari near tara manager soldier, anyone me a mistake, eke dismiss le, eke punish le, they use you as a scapegoat. Ni mistake ta ibe sila la kafunti ka for ye mistake. Ibe mistake nukunna. You try to cover up and then blame other people. But if there's that openness, you encourage people to be open, to be truthful. Look, ninga mistake okay, alkana sila or alkana malu. Come and tell me, ninga mistake okay. Be honest, ala jube ye. Allah kabrol jube. Come and tell me. You encourage them. Sama wolte sila la purkana because ibalon nako, even if they tell you the truth, ite baila do kola because they told you the truth. Minister Jamaa Bije, they're not talking, they're quiet. Mulka for her will be jail because they don't want to be otherwise because Nimansa Kunda do nata, they'll be blamed. So they are just there to get their money and go home. But they're not there for the people. Sometimes NPP, la media, they're not setting ministers, me alonko, Imambalora agenda support. And that's true. And Umbaroye Wolone, but what is he doing? Because Wol are saying yes to whatever he wants, he's not going to get rid of them. And Wolmantara Makoekang, Wolmantara Gambia Makoekang, and the same as his galaxy of advisors. Dolby, when they go to social media, you will even feel ashamed when they're talking. They cannot even express a simple idea. What's the president no advice no nyadi? When you are meant to go out and articulate your government's policies, you are meant to go out and support your president. Yeah, sell out so that people can buy him. You can sway and persuade people to come and join you, but you cannot even express yourself. What is the president on advice no nyadi? How genuine are those people? Those are the people who should have been experts in their own areas. But he came in for a presidential advisor of lands and ying. We munelo about geography la. We munelong about physical planning. Eko etemu religious advisor of religious affairs. Ye Kurano lo mintole. Where have you been an ustaz or an imam? Ibe president no advisor on religious matters nyadi lo. Ite ka for okay, itelemu president advisor on diaspora and Malong Gambians foreign abroad. You don't even have a good relationship with the people, with the Gambian people abroad. Ibe president advice la wola nyadile. What relationship do you have with the Gambian, outside in the diaspora? In a world book meet, you don't even have meetings, you don't have conferences, you don't have seminars, you don't know their problems. So how can you advise the president on behalf of those people when there is a huge disconnect between you and them? So these are things that Baro Nyanta Jube la Fangwe. Because Nia Jube is like, let's say people like Obama and then Hillary le Nyintanu. But if I bring a winter, Hillary was the first people I mean to invite. I position Odila. Hillary Kontatala, I convinced I have, I am man in a four-way attack. And Hillary did a lot on his foreign policy for him. And not only Hillary, a lot of other people. Mini Alonko, Wolba Oposkano. He reached out to them because Ayalonko, these are people who are knowledgeable and expert in these areas. So I need them in my government to help me because he was new as a president. He had to learn, he had to depend on people, many Alonko, they are experts. But you don't appoint people because Suleiman is supporting you on social media, he's saying good things about you, your position or diala, when Suleiman is not even qualified to run that office. Suleiman be mako ina nyadi. Nienke ambassador, I've never worked in the foreign affairs. La foreign policies propagate no lanyadi outside. So Latina, you have ambassadors going outside fighting over women. Ambassadors going outside making rubbish things. So these are things many alonko mol nyantaka wo fulai, and he should listen whether diata a mandia nyine mutonyati, and he needs to learn to work on these things. Minister Damavije, even speaker, ila salary, wole siata wala salary. So if you are leaving this place to go and work there, it's not because of Kodo. It's love for country. So Minutataje, we expect those people, Sitonya for Baroy, especially those Minuyalonko, Ningwule Keloke, Jamila Wato, and they are working on the Baro now.
But Minga Nyagal need a falling no soul. I don't know.
Well, Imam Falinde. Imam Falling, Yalom Mandingol ko, Yiro Meta Bakono Nyawonya, Ate Falling no la Bamboti. So they're just revealing who actually they are and what they were fighting for. But Imam Falling, Mo ila jiko mumenti ini ikawule manifest. Kodota tina ila jiko e Falling, Plaso tina ila jiko Falling. But ikamenu jama hani ke senior clerk, they try to, ila kunum terimal or ila kulum fulangol, inimenu kuluta, inimenu wuluta, ikawole bula yeta terima kutol nyini. You call them, they don't listen, they don't speak.
That's right.
But inyinata ko sama ila palaso be bula le dolbe na silaje.
And then they come back to you, So that time
Ninge tulo busa, nyingol si kolong.
So your final thoughts, and then we come to you, Bamba. What would that about?
Well, that's all I have to say, to be honest.
Thank you. Bamba.
Barrow should encourage people to be telling him the truth, and he should listen. Any nonsense advice, let him listen and take the best out of that. Wole nyaton ko comme coach Barma kamin fo nyaton ko nyanta ke na foti surwal kamin fo mbahana a nyanta mbahana dafa oyof a feyata le wolati na kungo ka dunno bambala na fo jube a choputa nyame a kungo kan yalo ning bere kulo lem no ngate chopuno la je bari na fo because na fo nyi feyata wolati na ya dunno so nyaton ko nyanta ka feya at least ini mol sitano manigol ya kuma jamal for yeke suntu kungoti suntu kungo I think is where you throw rubbish, isn't it? So mansa nyanta ke la woti so ika will yeah ika everything for, like I said, if you choose to be a leader or be in the public domain, you must open yourself to anything, criticism, nendirol and wasifal. Because generally, ni the mole is conscious, they're politically aware, they know their rights as citizens, their duties and responsibilities. In a national discourse, you challenge the person's ideas. Because near Safiroke, you are talking about an idea, you're not talking about yourself. It's your opinion that you're selling out. Let them look at the opinion. Yes, substance in Taje, Mimanke substance. They can argue and give an alternative. Mia Lonko, you would learn and say, oh, I didn't know this. So yeah, accept. You know, that is human. But until we are not ready to reach that level, because everybody wants to get rich now, and you want to get it very easily.
We will force
you
them.
Want it now, and you want, yeah.
We'll force them.
At least for Bamba ni Bamba dunda kaluwato de. Because na dunda kaluwato maybe 7 days or 40 days kaluwa cool si falino.
Bamba
Allah baraka.
Membe kering Gambia amammo kumpambele ngalong. Anong unless Gambia dingoli bula tonya noma. Bira dina nyatonka, a politician, a civil servant, mbenga jeko. Ntolla banko ala en ni boala le andong ala ben konti boala la len kan na banko samba nyame. Mustafa damante ngawo silanya soto alaye na be nyoya en dew Mustafa Gambia la falingo be koleyal. Bar ko kilin wayen ne ko ya wayen jahale. Gambia de wolu nyaabe nyin tilimbali ya bela aning the lack of or not unwillingness waram pare balia barola man sakundato ajube dron TRC la commissions hani bi molmen ni alon ko ye fa AFPRC wato kono ke bade yundum barracks mbenga jele barola si folo wato kono ye furewlu wuri Mustafa o furewlu men ni ye wuri. Did they conduct a DNA kaje ko fure jumala munyente ke murundi la family will come for a proper and decent burial. 8 years into Barrow's administration, honey B, Okoma resolve no. Not even to talk of the victims menube baluring, will be killing fakang. So near juba balafa warta bakele. Gambia do they think life must go on. Alinga nyina wala ngatambi. More atrocities are being committed. Molbe kusmaka ne mol kata nyo mol no me la cordal kono e kapare pour que fa ngabere ko mol findita na police jaban traffic light sukuta traffic light ay police pula bunje wo kesi banko besila but before police pula e bum mo jelle fata ye fure jelle tombong ni o banko be kan insecurity be faring Gambia tep mol katera cordal kono mol ka seleno may nim fan jawol ni joran jawol pour nyin kamala ida ngela fewta wara ngefa Mustafa obebe kering ngalon ko police are overstretched mbele ngawlo baroy jikan ni masingo men sang jikan ni moto me alon ka nyanta jikan dole spray la mol ka aw san demonstrator da male kama ay muna di police olla ngaje ngamira sign nga IGP jele ko foy masimal sam police ole on masimal sam police ole are the police equipped enough pour ka crime tackle ko Mustafa intolerance membe Gambia asembo warta bakele anu Gambia no kataria
mama asebono nyari
abe bono la nyame wole mum be ngatara to nya fasa kan hanna ya tara jenketante Mustafa ni enje ku kam memman bete come publicly come and tell me nimman song go public ameta nyawnyang asike no mbe malulare nimmo be finta bamba no this is wrong mbe malulare but nimmo finta ka bambala wrong support it can defend even when they know bamba is wrong. That is where we lost morality.
Mama mol fanan kamin fo bika mean la ajibe dro mol kamin fo 1 minute ba fo kan land issue the next minute be nendro ko fo kan people are all over the place mol fam hala la vitamin na ni kamin fo
because Mustafa wobe mu poverty le mu woti yalon Gambia dul be tembo men don tolu ndol be wefle bulum bukata no manta dulal soto na ba balanta
banko sambanya manya na okelo
ma si bole mu because mendu be nyato ima sambano andu mendu be fasa ka wol fo yalo ne ko ma sambano
mo ba fola nyato ka fulol belo minne be nyato ka nyino la fana woto
nyato ka fulata keri Mustafa to nya fula buka folo nyato ka kinine be Gambia
mol minne fana be nyato ka nyino la mbol la fo
mendu be nyato ka nyino la almadi wol la folo so I told George no la best on Mustafa badundro badu Imam Kebu Chap bi hafiza ullalam alquran hafijolam nim kunu ikay ko Imam Kebu Chap nun te ka DJ ake ka disco play be kumbolal ni ko ba George la lawo watola then you would never like Imam Kebu Chap but biya ka kuma kawl men for some of them are good if not majority of them Imam Abdullah Fati ala fondi ke wato aka nyoboru ken foni ko ba George la nyoboru watola bi anala bi almame adu so Mustafa moma futa memma man kati follow Imam Kebu Imam Mustafa Imam Fati bimbe te momento bi almamu ba George la walla be walla barinta George la kuluna Musa bo to sedi nyol ani nyim fonka ko tawol men mo ko tawol
ala kunum fokan nka min fonka bile fo yalo nyaton ko bi jel already bara bi min bi je pour ka fay ko e kamin fo amam be ngam correct wol iboke kan ma
the UDP is doing it ndesi wala fono because tebe wol ninga tarambe party dol dol buka fo doy ni wadi ko mala fo be li fon la ba bari mu famate moy la ba doy fanan ka kele no they use
I think
ito nyala is doing very well so msapo ko political parties sabo membe Gambia bari nyim politics parties of nowhere political party will and ICK register Mustafa wala fango mangel na kela because bankola luwa même fo ni be political party no la nyanta bureau supply in every region political party jelo
problem momenti in the Gambia we just mention and forget yalong in Europe or America ning a politician or a public figure ye kuke mi yalong ko alana tambita the press the people and everybody would call for them to go. And the pressure would mount until Wolieta is not going to relent. Galte ite wo preso nyinna. But in the Gambia, wo bukake. So I've approached you in private and go, let's look into this and see what we can do in support of, Dabo. I'm not UDP, but I feel as a Gambian, I am obliged to do something. And all my writings coming every day I will mention Jele because man la fi moli nyinala. So saying land issue and somebody said this, we all talking about this land. Tomorrow another scandal would come and we'll forget about this land thing. And we'll focus on that. We are not able to force our leaders to do what the public wants.
Because
complete.
Go. Bamba dolbe Westminster.
Finish. Ninga men start na kala kukilimbe jende ka kukilina koros Gambia no dadi ko. Mustafa. Nim man sakunda e menken kom Gambia di ulun ko man sakunda manya na nyinkela na tax dollar bebulu. E kamune fo opposition or fananka kela. Opposition are not responsible for the country.
Ni opposition yake, well, they are not in power. So wala influence among important. Menu important mumbe mansa yala anung Usenu Dabo alafta nyawonya he cannot introduce a constitution with 2-term limit. Barole Keno Asala Molning encourage Galio pass because he is in power. Policy Jamal Bije Usenu Dabo will introduce Nola. He's not in power. Barole si wol Keno. So therefore, if we are holding anybody accountable for government policies, commissions and omissions, it should be Barrow. Of course, we can hold Dabo accountable in some utterances he makes and some things that he does because he's aspiring to be a president. So therefore, we should see signs of responsibility and leadership in him before we can trust to elect him into office. So if we find him to be unelectable by virtue of what he says in the opposition and what he does, therefore, multa trustla. If you elect this man into office, he's gonna be worse. So we want to see him be everything that Barrow is not, so that we can say, yes, this is the guy who is quite opposite of what Barrow is, and he is the one we want to bring about a change. But in Nima was Sute Abala, so that's why people are saying he and Barrow are all the same. UDP and Barrow are all the same. You cannot dismiss that. Because what you do, Barrow come in, Dabo would do similar things. What you do, Barrow NPP la supporters come in, UDP la supporters ka wolke. So how can you differentiate those two people? And Barrow Farafita UDP la.
Barrow nin Dabo kamuntale konko nimba. Momo ye Barrow nin Dabo compare. It mari you have.
The only difference between the only difference between Barrow and Dabo is Barrow is the president and Dabo is the opposition leader. Would that a difference?
I would not agree with you there.
Of course, you wouldn't agree.
No. Ousainou Dabo is not corrupt. Barrow is corrupt. Ousainou Dabo has challenged Barrow. Ko Barrow e commissioner bondi itol be ako kabirin jawara type nim Barrow ya feel ko Ousainou quand même for it's not possible
ma for Ousainou is corrupt de andunga Ousainou Dabo is not corrupt.
Is what destroys the country.
It's not corruption.
And Barrow is corrupt. Barrow corrupt alfango ngoronda. You cannot compare them. You are being disingenuous. Nico Ousainou Barrow Kanyantala, you are being disingenuous. Barrow is corrupt to the core. Barrow is encouraging corruption. Barrow is embedding corruption. Barrow, in fact, is part of corruption. Barrow is leading corruption. Barrow is not ready to fight corruption. And all this, Abemu Barrow la characteristics. Barrow la manza kunda kono mo be alone mo luka tapale yake tilimbali yake ne bato. What does Barrow do? Akamuneke, he move you. Aye samba to another level. Yeta sunya roke otofana. Ikafa ko niye nyunu bayi na patio man sembo so to follow. UDP mina marlola. Anu Barrow woka Barrow balisino la. Barrow famuka tutosino. Ikajel na besiri dauda akatara jinkola because akatara emiralo UDP la 24/7. UDP had disturbed so much that it's
Bamba Kadim.
On that note, I would agree with you because I always say this he should not be focusing on Dabo or UDP. Now, let him talk about his blueprint, let him talk about his program.
2026. Gambia no lebe batala. Hana tele Ganyeta 2026. Gambia no lebe batala because Barrow would never ever slip as long as UDP is alive. And Barrow cannot kill UDP.
What Bamba saying in Delta party form la bang yeke mola party leader tingata campaign.
No, ndabe UDP and as long as Ousainou is my leader for now, ntamamfanje in any other political party because ninkeba ngajele ko. Ninkeba atilintale so much that nga feel ko. Ninga hani 5 years killing dia la nga jube. Nga fana jube na mambeta nga bonije. Ndadela fila Ousainou Dabo e Gambia mara more than 10 years. Ndadela fila.
Okay, ning Ousainou Dabo bota UDP wala nyato ngabula ibe bola UDP lefo.
Well, that depends. Then I can make my own decision. But I decide the co. Mbetara Dabo support la as long as he leads that party. I am strongly convicted with that. Mota of not.
Kacha diata, commotionera. So
because ndenga Dabo, I got close to Dabo. Nsuti atale ngalo ne mune moti
Bamba Dabo, don't kill
ndela supporto, ndela Dabo supporto. Dabo tende fasala faniakan. I know that. And ndela for that kind of a leader.
Jawara is our leader. We shall not be moved.
Suleiman, it is Suleiman Jeng. You've once been close to Dabo. It is Suleiman Jeng. Mustafa. Suleiman Jemmen Kadiamuteng. He was once close to Dabo. During the Jamaica, what about the police? And then Dabo Manina Suleiman la. Ilamoy drunk. Ilamoy one thing. Usenu Manina Suleiman la. Bira Suleiman get drunk straight away. I remember. Baro Buka okay no. Baro NPP lo. My mother said Dabo. I will be a jumper. I knew them Basabalila. Ko Baro reset la. Baro ama for them. Amabo my moneko. Ntelenga them Basabali Sweden. Nimemba la fola and malati moka fanyeko ndolenga NPP lo momenta syndicate ala the fola kata ko en syndicate. That's what he told his people. It hanyila ka fo barinte ndolanga lo na wala foye ibebe siri be dering because it hanyila iman tadula soto itolle fambula nyu toro kono ibetarla je mondi malu ibetarla je joya mo malu ibetarla je mesemari malu dindi wolu be feala Atambita wala moma nyana patala banko ikensenke wala nante ko nobody would ever disrespect Ousainou Darboe as long as I live. Ma fo ita ka jefna wobu politique la barka bulala ka ne I will come after you hanni mo malay ko
Darboe as a person not a close and I'm always grateful to him. I'll always ever be grateful to him because
he is also very grateful to you because I have fallen to long
I ku kenye fonga fante nyina la wala. And when I was desperate and I needed support, he came out and he supported me. And he didn't ask for anything. That is the
leader you need. You need that kind of a leader.
After several years, more than 10 years, then Darboe would remember me. Nga call, nga telephone call, I chiga hello, Mr. Darboe, Mr. Jeng UK. Ako you know, Suleiman Jeng yes. You know, I'm gonna qualify. Don't worry, send your brother. And Usomo, na brother tata je ayadiala, and that helped me. So, Kabringa Nata in 2016 December.
You see, Suleiman for him vindicated.
Kabringa Nata. Birmingham until Dunta Nimbamba Yankuba Darboe. We were very close because we were to Kibaro News. Bamba was the manager and I was the editor-in-chief. So Kabrin Dunta, Darboe was sitting on the high table with Alkali Conte and I think another guy here. Nenemang Alkali Conte lo nenemaje. So until Dunta, I think after the conference, Alkali Conte wulita tabulo kan anata meet akonye Mr. Jenka yes akonye Alkali Conte akonye Darboe spoke very well of you. He told me a lot about you.
I was there when he said that.
Again, I was touched. Nenema Espeko, I would walk out Meduna in that conference and Darboe would recognize me out of everybody and tell Alkali Conte what he told him. I mean fire aning Alkali Conte aning alale along. But Alkali Conte came and met me. That was the first time I've ever spoken to him. And on the first time I saw him. After the Nene Maje cutting Hanibi Maje. And we never spoke. So what I think Ning Darboe as a leader. No.
Guy pasanjali bojang ka kitio kundu jang nyin sifa ka kitio kundu nyela aka kitio kundu jang kitio
no kami yitande mol jamal maybe itinyol ya lonne and few other people mol jamal man nan relationship nin Darboe baro even though na dinding wato akuluta na konyoto andung ayalo hanne dolo di ala yami ate hanyla fola you doesn't know me bari Kabrinte Keta Police in Tata, I work with UDP. Mambaro Sute Mol Konoje. I've never recognized him.
He was there?
Yeah, but he might recognize Nene Ma Sute Mol Kono. I know people like this Kemeseng. I know people like Peter. I forgot this name. And people like MC Samuel, Yaya Jallo. Because Wato, anytime in that, I was not part of UDP and I was not part of the executive. But if Dabo can invite ila briefings Nataraje as a security head. And I found that very grateful. He could have we've never been invited to security.
You could be a secret agent. You could be informing Yaya Jammeh of a but yet I trust.
Yeah, he trusted me. Right. And Kabrin Lata at the beginning, Diamond trust. But Dabo was the one that helped them to accept us. Because
that is what a leader should be.
Yeah,
come on, let's clap for that. Leader
Anyanta kela wonya bari
yalo bumo kati baromu businessman ol tabe business abena bankole business kan
lafta me emphasize la jang despite all that between me and him ningaje akakuke mi alonko abato le tinyala. I would tell him don't do this, don't say this, because lafta I succeed, and the same way I want Baro to succeed, because I cannot be happier if Baro has the best legacy. Barrow has successfully led the country to what we want it to be. But unfortunately, he hasn't got the leadership to do that.
Thank you, Saul. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Some listeners, this is where we go.
I'll see you later.
Edition of the civic, our weekly civic education program. Lamurani Giveralu Bamba Butumbe, Wado in Sunyan Lambe Dana Jane for Lokunala, inshallah, Mobet and Tulambe Jaila, na local civic education program on Bedana Jane for Civit Nala program on Yankana Civido Civil Lekabo, Talalu Katana Worola, bin tal later the Mandeolana, Wato Ta, Mobet and Tulambe Jaila, Medana Jane for Civitinala, inshallah, Nal Badimala Mustafa, Jame member in program or Kunafa Civitinala, inshallah, Alimber.